On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Kamala Harris is failing badly. We're going to have some fun. There's a bit of video, but I think it's worth it. It was entertaining as hell. YouTube's going to hate it. So for those of you that watch on YouTube, you missed something really, really cool. You should probably check out some of the alternate platforms every once in a while just to see what's going on, because I actually have an uncensored show over there. But no criticisms to YouTube, whatever. Do what you got to do. It's your platform. I hear you. They want to control things, so I feel bad for those that are losing their livelihood. We're in a changing environment, a changing world. And everybody's being called up to make a difference, to be a part of this. Certainly your vote. That's a for sure. That's a for sure. Nothing else matters, folks. You want to do it by mail, by ballot, whatever. Because overwhelmingly, a lot of people in our audience, self-included, I voted one other time, twice total in my life. And the last one was the midterm, but 2022. This will be my third time coming up. I friggin' hate voting. I hate it. And I'm going to do it. So that means all you guys that have your excuses got to do it too. Now, here's the thing. I'm still an independent, going to always be independent. Hope that's okay with all y'all, because I don't want to be either party. I don't want to be. Never have. Still don't want to. With everything that's happening in the world, I still am happy being the one that's not named. It's cool. Y'all tough it out, duke it out. I side with you all. You know it. I'm conservative, but I was always left center. Always left center. Still am. It's just, center went screaming down off to the left. So I'm just, whatever. I'm like a lot of people. And we're in this changing time. And I think it's stoked. It's awesome. I'm so glad I'm doing it with you guys. Especially my audience. You guys, specifically when I say you, I mean you. You guys are friggin' awesome. You guys, the way you're there for me, it's going to be stupid. But I want everybody out there to understand. God chooses. The chosen are chosen by God at the time, and it's not that you're better or worse, it's that you're being asked to do more. Now, as an example, and I'm going to explain this, and I hope you give me a couple minutes, and then we're going to get into some entertaining stuff, but this is soul-changing, and I think it's worth it, and I hope you guys will give me a couple. So Jacob, he was a cheater. Peter, he had a temper. David had an affair. Noah, he was a drunk. Jonah ran from God. Paul was a murderer. Gideon was insecure. Miriam was a gossiper. Martha was a worrier. Thomas was a doubter. Sarah was impatient. Elijah was moody. Moses stuttered. Abraham was old. And Lazarus, he was dead. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Post if you know you're not perfect, but God has a plan for you. Now I want to remind people of something really quick, and then we're getting right into the good stuff. The difference between wisdom and knowledge. Okay? Knowledge is great. It's a very low-level thing. Knowledge is the thing that says you shouldn't do bad things. That's what knowledge is. It says you shouldn't do bad things. And then there's that joy of never doing bad things when you're a person with knowledge. You're like, I've never done that, so you have? Oh, you're so dirty. Here's the thing, though, and I'm not saying go out and commit sin, if you will, but here's the funny thing about sinners, especially sinners that have actually learned from, grown from, and stopped doing the behavior that's, quote, a sin, right? They made a sin, they committed sin, they learned from it, and now they've evolved. And the difference there is wisdom. You see, when you've never done something before, it's very easy to say you shouldn't do that. It's bad. When you've done it and you've experienced it, the goods, if you will, too, because of course sometimes there's temptation, and the bad side of it. And maybe you've even paid some sort of price, if you will, for experiencing that sin. We're just using easy words. Once you've learned that and understood that, well, now you understand not only why you shouldn't do it, but you understand the levels and reasons and can actually explain to people the why. And you can give them some understanding as to why it doesn't necessarily work out the way it's advertised. So it's one thing to say, nah, I never did it. It's a good thing. Awesome. Good on you. But there's actually a wisdom when you've messed up and learn. So really, and I'm not trying to be like, hey, this is why you should like people like me. But sinners are actually valuable. And so any of you that are sinners, like we all are, you're still being called. That's why you're in my audience. You're being called. There's no reason not to. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. This is beautiful. It's just a good reminder. This was at some restaurant in some awesome place. I don't know where it was. But they had receipts up. They said, if you are hungry and have no money, these meals have been paid in advance. And there was receipts. Grab one. Give a server the ticket, and they will have the kitchen make it for you. That is how we solve the problems we face today. Not with the government, not how we've been trying to come at it. This is beyond epic. This is SNL's open Saturday, I guess, right? Saturday Night Live. It must have been. They're going after Kamala. Now, they attack J.D. Vance in this in a funny kind of way. I'm going to be honest. I found it entertaining. Though I love J.D. Vance a lot. The way they mimic J.D. Vance is actually kind of spot on, sort of. And I don't know about the answers per se, but just the way they did them, I thought was kind of funny. And all said, they're totally going after the Democrat Party. Just a spoiler alert. Check this out. Sorry, YouTube. I'll take it out. Best, like in a long time, of intros. Now, again, YouTube, this may not, I don't know. We'll see if I upload it. We'll see how pissed off they get. Here's another thing that, again, just want to start. It's powerful, and I think it gets us moving in the right direction, without a doubt, because they are making fun of Kamala Harris so hard right now, and it's kind of funny.
Who needs personality when you can switch who you are at the push of a button?
It's Sid Swish Kamala. That's right.
Oh, hello, young lady. Quite a marvelous day, isn't it?
Why does she talk so weird? Let me play with her.
Well, hey there, little nugget. I'm going to be the first black female president of the United States of America.
Man, this doll sucks.
Accent Switch Kamala can emulate any accent you like, as long as it grants her credibility.
Bonjour, tu aimes les croissants?
Merde américaine.
Guten Tag, Sie lieben ein Bratwurst? Ufta, 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 da.
Luke, I am your mother.
It's Sid Swish Kamala. That's right.
But wait, there's more. All new Accent Switch Kamala comes with 2 bags of campaign money, a blind eye for illegal immigration, and her own multi-laugh 3000 generator. Laugh in every way possible. Let Accent Switch Kamala turn your life into a complete circus.
When you give me more money, like Uncle Joey did.
Don't you worry, little man. The money's coming.
I don't understand.
Oh, excuse me, honey.
I meant to say, the money is coming. I love ice cream, Kamala map.
It's Accent Switch Kamala and brand new Tampon Tim.
You know, my grandma always used to say, Kamala Jano, please wash your hands so we can eat our chicken masama.
It's Sid Swish Kamala.
These guys got some skills. That's all I got to say. So we got to celebrate when these people put the stuff out there. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty, I guess. Here's O'Keefe Media with some pretty strong, Supreme Court information, it seems. This is awesome. Check it out.
Hey guys, I'm still down here at the Mexican border working on a very sensitive rescue operation. You'll hear more about that very soon. But I just got off the phone with Colombia and got really good news from the prosecutor's office. Kelly Suarez Moya, the female depicted in Sound of Freedom, she lost her appeals, as she should have, and she is now definitively convicted of child trafficking and child exploitation, along with all the other traffickers you saw depicted in Sound of Freedom. I thank God, because I know this brings so much relief to all those children who were rescued. Also, you've seen the news, and the co-plaintiffs with Kelly Moya, a convicted child trafficker, are now defendants. I have sued all of them, and now I think it should become very clear who's on the side of child trafficking and who's on the side of protecting children. This is all going to come out, but stand by for the interview that we actually filmed way before there was even a conviction. Okay, so we've been waiting for a long time to show you this interview. We're going to drop that very soon because now we have permission, and you're going to see the horrific acts that Kelly Suarez Moya and her fellow traffickers committed against children. and you'll get a great insight into how we rescue children and how child trafficking works. So stand by for that, and keep your prayers up for these kids on the border that we're trying to help.
Keep your prayers up for all of us, frankly. And again, yes, for the children. Absolutely, unquestionably. Here we got controlling the weather is a dangerous conspiracy theory. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene, once again, just continuing to hammer this. Here's a History Channel show that came out quite a while ago that talks about weather modification.
Man is on a quest to play God, to control the weather and use it as a weapon. Lightning, torrential rains, hurricanes, targeted at the enemy.
The ultimate war is if you never have to fire a round and nobody ever knew you launched the fight.
Is it possible there have already been attacks using weather weapons?
If you get down low enough, you can actually see a clear layer above the antenna. It is actually pushing these water particles up, and that's exactly how HAARP works. What we've done is we've not only pushed the cloud off of the HAARP antenna, but as you can see, our cloud is almost completely gone inside. HAARP does exactly the same thing. It ionizes the particles, pushes them out into space.
HAARP is one of several ELF wave transmitters located all over the globe. The United States owns and operates 3 of them, one in Kokona, Alaska, another in Fairbanks, Alaska, and one in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. Russia has one in Vasilursky near Nizhny Novgorod, and the European Union has one near Tromsø in Norway. Working in tandem, these transmitters could potentially alter the weather anywhere in the world, changing the jet stream's course entirely, triggering massive rainstorms or droughts. Even hurricane steering would be possible by heating up the atmosphere and building up high-pressure domes that could deflect or change the course of hurricanes. The U.S. government is firm in its position that HAARP is just an atmospheric research facility. But is it more than coincidence that since going online, some experts have reported strange weather anomalies, including massive floods, hurricanes, and earthquakes?
So yeah, great work by them, but true. And people have a hard time accepting the fact of that the HAARP stuff, right? And so one of the biggest fallacies that's kind of out there, and I've been talking a bunch about it, I'm glad this got out there, so that kind of confirms it even further, but that most people just think it's that one location. That doesn't work as well, because the way they would utilize this, they can heat the atmosphere is what my general understanding is. They can supposedly communicate stuff too, because that's what they claim they used it for, is to communicate with submarines deep at sea, because they could bounce it off the ionosphere. So there's frequencies, and they started playing around with those, and they started to realize, oh crap, you can actually use certain frequencies and heat it, not just communicate. And they started creating high pressure or low pressure. I'm not sure how it would work. If you pulled it up, it would, I think, lower the pressure. I think it creates a low pressure system. So if you heat it in the upper and it pushes the ionosphere up, or the troposphere, I think it's the ionosphere, when you push it up, it would cause the atmosphere to kind of come up, which would cause lower pressure down below than normal. And so what that would do, based off the angle that you were shooting it at, if you're in one location, it would kind of push the low pressure system away from wherever you're pointing it. So if you're pointing it, straight out in front of you, like away from you, that low pressure system's likely going to form because of how you're heating the atmosphere, and it's going to create that high pressure there, low in front, and it'll probably start to move storms that direction. But if you can hit it from multiple angles, then you can actually start to heat things into a specific direction, a three-dimensional direction, a two-dimensional direction, really, from a standpoint of the sky, or three. I'm not trying to go flat earth. I'm just trying to say, generally just point it in the direction that you're trying to go. And that's, I think, kind of how it's been working and how it does work. I think they've got other factors at play, probably satellites and stuff like that too. But just from the standpoint of I've heard there's 12 to 13 of these particular sites, not just the 5 or 6 they list off here. So again, a lot to consider, a lot to think about, but definitely possible. Elon Musk posted this, extending the free period through the end of the year for those affected by the hurricanes. So very nice of him. And he's doing a lot of states too, by the way. Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, West Virginia, Virginia, all those places. So that's fantabulous. Donald Trump Jr. posted this. FEMA is funding the invasion of Texas, apparently with both Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton raising questions about FEMA's budget being spent on illegals. We decided to look into how much money FEMA is spending on illegals here in Texas. The numbers are shocking. FEMA's responsibility is, as the name would suggest, emergency management. But their Shelter and Service Program, SSP, spends $650 million per year giving things to non-citizen migrants. Their website states that the program, quote, provides sheltering and related activities, end quote, to migrants. Instead of helping Americans whose lives are destroyed by hurricanes, FEMA is spending nearly $1 billion on non-citizens. How much of this is spent in Texas? For the years of 2023 and 2024, more than $250 million went to the groups funding the migrant invasion in Texas alone. So, who's receiving all this money? A few of them are Democrats, run cities like El Paso and San Antonio. But a few of the names, specifically Team Brownsville and Annunciation House, are currently under investigation by Attorney General Paxton for facilitating the illegal invasion. If you have any doubts that FEMA is intentionally disregarding Americans and supporting the invasion, you should know a little about a man in charge. As head of DHS Gov, Alejandro Mayorkas, he oversees FEMA. When FEMA isn't in office, he works at a Democrat law firm called WilmerHale. WilmerHale is the place Democrat operatives go to bring lawfare against Republicans when Democrats don't control the presidency. The firm is infamous for hiding those behind the Russia hoax when they weren't on public salary. Robert Mueller, as well as his underlings Aaron Zebley and James Quarles. Zebley and Quarles worked for Mueller in the federal government, followed him to WilmerHale, and went back with him into public office to run the Russia hoax. The law firm is also behind the J6 persecutions and defended Justin Cooper, the administrator of the Hillary Clinton email server, from prosecution. It is the epitome of the anti-American deep state, and Mayorkas is a part of their operation. In the final analysis, every level of the Biden-Harris administration subverts America for the agenda of chaos. They are diverting billions of dollars via multiple agencies, from HHS to FEMA, into NGOs that are prioritizing illegal alien invasion. Real Americans are suffering and need assistance, but Kamala Harris calls you a liar for pointing it out. You cannot hate this regime enough. I don't like the word hate. The only chance we have is to correct the vote for Donald Trump on November 5th. Absolutely agree with it. All of that except the hate thing. Both French, so some people don't get all weird about the word like I do. A lot of people still kind of tripping out on the fact that the Internet Archive apparently is still offline. I'm not sure if the Wayback Machine, I haven't actually double-checked this, so it's probably October 12th is when that came through, so yesterday. It's concerning. If it got hacked, I would just say that a lot of things have probably been removed, and however long it took to remove all the things, and they probably went in with a solid list of places that they needed to get rid of the archive. Now, the sad part is, the deep state's funny, and this is the way the awakening works. A lot of us get like crazy intuitions, like just all of a sudden something will pop into your head and you're like, I should download this for sure. You may not normally download, maybe you download everything, even better, but like you'll download it and you'll even archive it in a weird way that you'll be able to find it again. Like it's just one of those things where we are well ahead of them. We're figuring it out. And one of the places where we're definitely got to figure it out quickly is the economy. If you're in an IRA or a 401k, like you've been pumping it in, the company's been matching, all that great stuff, I'm going to say you're running up to a place where things are probably going to take a drastic turn. And again, how bad it is, how far it goes, how far we're able to come back, I think there's a lot of questions about that. When you think about how much bloat there is in the world, how much secrecy there is, how much stuff happens because of killing each other. Like, there's a lot of things that don't need to be there. So there's a lot of things that we need to kind of shift and lift, as they'd say, or lift and shift, really. We need to move it from where it's at to something else. Somebody maybe working in that industry, great, there's places for you, trust me. But we have to shift our thinking away from this, oh, they're all going to kill us. And so that is going to cause a bit of a contraction of some degree. I think that most of that should be able to be kind of pushed out to other things, but we're going to go through a big old fat change. And your IRA and 401ks are going to take a giant hit. Now, here's the thing. Gold and silver right now, because of all the craziness, are actually going up in price, like a lot. This year, since late February, have gone up quite a bit, in fact, and continue to. That always happens when crazy stuff goes down. 2008, well, silver anyways is a really good like heartbeat of all the crazy stuff. Gold like kind of sticks to the majors, but gold is definitely spiking. This is a major, probably a big, big major. I'm just saying, staying in that system is a risk that we all have to think about. I've got a great company. They're the best customer service out there, and they can help you do it actually pretty quickly. They've got all the right internal mechanisms, plumbing, you might call it, and they're the best in the business. They're highly rated. Goldco's awesome. I'm proud to be affiliated with them. I'm proud to be part of this. I'm proud to be trying to help you get out of their system. These guys are amazing, and they can help you. Ask as many questions as you want. This is a big, big deal. I get you. But what's happening in the world's also unprecedented, wouldn't you say? Especially the way the deep state's getting taken down. Capitalize on that right now. Because right now, precious metals are going through the roof because inflation's out of control and our stupid government is blowing it bad. Go to drslikesgold.com. 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 Get out of their system. Buy some precious metals. Use it for that too. You got some cash lying around, you want to get some precious metals, easy way to go. Or go down to a pawn shop or whatever you got to do. But I would say precious metals are definitely a good investment at the moment. It's a day-to-day changing place. Don't get caught on the wrong side of that. Be ahead of the deep state. We see it coming. We know what they're doing. drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. Oh, yeah. Bill Maher. I've played a lot of video today. I guess it's going to be one of those shows, but man, I hope you guys are agreeing with me, but some good stuff. Now again, this is the people that are on the left. And that's always, every once in a while, they'll throw a jab and they'll still take that jab, and the rest of it's like, you're owning the round, you know? Like, anyway, this is pretty good.
Feel the tension, and you're just excited, tense. It could be anything. Oh, fuck, it's 25 days before the election. And I got to say, it's not looking that great for the Democrats. I mean, this is not a good sign. You know, when you have an African-American candidate, you probably shouldn't be having to shore up your support among black men, but that's what's going on. Tim Walz is headlining a voter engagement event tonight with black men. Who better to connect with young black men than Tim Walz? Because apparently Michael Bublé was unavailable. Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian's like, hello. No, Obama even came out yesterday to scold. I mean, he was scolding. Well, I don't know. The last month at the convention, he was no scolding. Now he's scolding. He was saying, you got to vote for Harris. But of course, for some young, especially the younger black men, it's a tough choice. Harris is African American, but Trump has a sneaker line. So,
what are you going to do? I mean, right? When the dude's got sneakers, he's got some sneakers, folks. Herschel Walker even saying to Barack Obama, telling us to vote based on color is a step backwards. Oh, no, you didn't. Did you just go after the one? You racist, Herschel Walker. You are so... Wait, you're black? Ah, shit. Yeah. I mean, they say it anyways, but it's still, I think, just hysterically funny when they call black people racist. I think just, it breaks them, too. If you say it to one of them that are actually left-leaning, too, it's kind of funny. You're like, you're being racist right now. And they're like, well, I can't be racist because I'm not part of the primary blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, actually, I'm not part of the majority either right now here. And we're pretty diverse in this particular state. So I'd say I'm a minority. So all of a sudden now I think I have an accent. I don't know where that just came from. Shucks. No, that sounded like a mixture of Southern, and there was some Hispanic there at some point. I don't know, maybe that was Texas. It had some taco in it. I could hear it. I don't know. I'm not sure. My grandma was from Texas, so it's possible some of that Texas leaks out every once in a while. That's right. The Lone Star. So cool. The reality, this is powerful. Yeah, this dude's awesome. Former RNC chair went on ABC, of all wonderful places, and basically says we're fucked. In a nutshell.
Which a lot of women watch. She went on The View. You talked about it earlier.
We'll start it where it should start.
I mean, the reality is that for the first time in 32 years in this poll, it shows that Republicans are beating Democrats straight up. When you ask people a generic ballot in 32 years, it shows that Donald Trump's doing better with black voters, Hispanic voters, off the charts. But what the most important thing is, what happened last week is that what was working with female voters with Kamala Harris was that there was some feeling of joy in the air. Well, that joy is gone. She had a terrible week. She picked a pointless fight with Ron DeSantis. She was losing in the Sun Belt. And she tried to recover by going on The View, which a lot of women watch. She went on The View. You talked about it earlier. And she wanted to clarify the two most important issues that are facing these two candidates, the economy and immigration. And she bombed like Rory at the U.S. Open. And she went out there and said there was nothing she would do that would be different than Joe Biden. And she created a campaign commercial for Donald Trump. And so she's trying to recover. There is no joy in the air, and everybody knows it, and it's obvious that there is a leak in the balloon here in the Kamala Harris campaign.
That just could be the air coming out of her head every once in a while. You've got to do a refill. I don't know if it's working or not. It's an old joke. I hope that was funny to a bunch of you. If not, whatever. I just hurt myself for no reason. I took that a little too far. VP Harris releasing detailed medical report challenging Trump to do the same. This is stupid. Stupid. Especially, I'm so glad they chose this picture. Oh my God. So do you see my nails? I just got them done. Like they're the way of the picture of, you made me put it up here so I can make sure you can see her showing her nails and you don't think I'm being weird. But yes, I mean, I'm weird often enough. All right, whatever. Yeah, I need a 2 on that one. Damn. Oh, this is good stuff. Tim Walz is such a friggin' retard. Yeah, was that actually him on Saturday Night Live making fun of himself? Or is that just someone that's that close? Seriously. I didn't look into it. One of you all that has my email, let me know for sure, please, because, that's like the same dude. Anyway, fuck. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is pretty good.
Speech. You've said there's no guarantee to free speech for misinformation or hate speech. But first of all, Supreme Court very clear in a unanimous 2017 decision that hate speech is protected. That's the kind of stuff that needs to be protected, stuff none of us like to hear. But more importantly, who gets to decide on the issue of what misinformation is?
Look, the First Amendment is foundational. It's something I spent my whole life, the vice president, and I think most Americans are clear on this. The point being on this, we're seeing censorship coming in the form of book bannings in different places. We're seeing it attempts in schools. The issue on this is the hate speech and the protected hate speech. Speech that's aimed at creating violence, speech that's aimed at threats to individuals. And that's what we're talking about in this. And the decision on that, society decides on a lot of this. The idea of someone going on and threatening someone's life or a child's life online, I don't think any of your viewers think that is something that should be acceptable.
I mean, there's a distinction, you would say, though, between something like a threat and misinformation.
Oh, certainly, and that's what we're talking about. And I think the idea of making sure that folks understand, are good consumers of that, those are the decisions they make. But I've always defend your First Amendment rights, defend your right to disagree on every case. That robust discussion has to happen. And that's why I'm so opposed to book banning. That's why in Minnesota we banned the practice of book banning. Let you make the decision of what you're going to read, whether you find it objectionable or not. The difference is threats, that type of speech.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting that you say all that. So book banning, first off, let's just talk about that for a quick second. What he's referring to is the pornographic books that are in elementary schools where young children can read it. And he's talking about, well, you should be able to choose what you can read and not read. Okay, well, if that's true, which it's not, but let's just go there for half a second. Okay, what about that child wearing the two genders shirt then? That must be the same exact thing. Because you don't have to read it. Hello, you can walk around, you can just like not look at it, not read that book, even though it's right in front of you. Now, buddy, pal, friend of mine, hey, you got a strong handshake there. No, not exactly. So, two genders, book ban, frankly, both, I mean, it's not really a fair assessment because I think the kid should be able to keep wearing his shirt, frankly, but I don't think pornographic books about children getting fellatio should be in elementary school libraries. You want to read that stuff at an older age, or maybe you have to go to a special place to get it, like, right? But not where everybody can just see it. At least have the beaded section in the elementary school library, right? The very mature children's section, I guess you would call it, because it can't be adult. I guess, right? I mean, some of you may be angry with that, but, at least give the beaded section. You shouldn't go in there. No. Are you ready for the dark side? Like, I mean, I don't even know how they prepare that. So here's the bad thing about Tim Walz right now. And this isn't official yet, but there's the drip of the October surprise with Tim Walz, and I think the actual proof is coming. We'll see. Don't fully believe it yet. But this is a very interesting story with a lot of very interesting facts that wouldn't be hard to really corroborate to a degree. So, let me just say this. Tim Walz put out this post. All Donald Trump and J.D. Vance know about manufacturing is how to manufacture bullshit. Funny, because Trump's owned his own business for a really long time, built a giant empire. What'd you do, Tim Walz? That's right, you're a communist. You don't do anything. But black insurrectionist. The image shows a very chocolatey individual, but I don't know. Those things don't necessarily mean shit. By the way, I think a lot of you guys don't realize that. You can use whatever picture you want. It can be a picture of Homer Simpson. People will be like, you look just like Homer. No, it's not Homer. That said, Tim Walz says something stupid. Black insurrectionist comes back with like some hardcore stuff. Goes, okay, Tim, I guess now would be a good time to drop my October surprise. You remember him, right? The real reason you walked away from teaching? The kid who spent the night at your home? The one you went to the gay bar with? The reason the school board had a meeting about you? What do you think, Tim? Should I drop that now, or should I wait another week or so? You know, the student you were having sex with, the male student you were having sex with, you didn't call you Touchdown Timmy because you were a football coach. Oh, wait, you lied about that also. You were the assistant coach. What do you think, Tim? You remember the Indigo Girls concert, right? The gay bar, spending the night, and, of course, the school board meeting. Think it is time, Tim? Touchdown Timmy? You were touchy, all right. Those are some very interesting, corroboratable things. We'll see. This is out there. I'm sharing it from that standpoint for sure, too. I don't know. If the guy's guilty, I still want him to go through the court system like you're supposed to, but if he did this stuff when there's a lot of rumor going around that he might have, I'd like to see the sunlight disinfect this whole discussion. Dan, that's conspiracy. I don't know, maybe it is. I don't know. I am talking about it because I want to see the disinfectant happen on this. I want to see this story bust open or break down. I don't care which. But I want the truth. This we need to figure out. That's what needs to happen. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer apologized for this social media thing. I intentionally stayed the frick away from this story. Anyway, let me play the 8-second clip of this retardation. Okay, so, oh God, it hurts me so much. Okay, so anyway, there's this weird part of me that kind of thinks she's hot, and watching her eat a Dorito like that, I don't know, this just drums up some strange feelings, but whatever. That's my problems that I deal with, my ghosts. But apparently it's some vlogger chick or whatever, I don't know, very famous, way bigger than me, so I'm punching up for sure. But she did this, and I guess it was supposed to be like the Eucharist. I guess this is what pissed off a lot of people. It's like, okay, I guess I wasn't really seeing that because it's a Dorito. I don't ever think of the Eucharist anytime I see a Dorito. I don't care how you feed it to somebody. You can be kinky, but I wouldn't ever assume it's the Dorito. But she did put her tongue out like you're supposed to receive it in Catholic. I was brought up that way. I get it. I get the, left hand on the bottom, right hand. Wait, sorry, the other way. Oh, man, it's been a while. Been a while. Right? Because you got to be able to grab with the right. So you put the right underneath because it's ready to go. Anyway, it's been a while. Like I said, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Okay, all done. Okay, Meghan McCain's coming out and she's like, look, here's the thing. You guys keep saying crazy shit. And she's not talking to us, by the way. No, she's actually talking to the deep state. Deep state, you keep saying crazy shit. I'm going to have to maybe do something. So she posted this on Twitter, and she's a blue check mark. She says, now I know Democrats want to reinvent history and turn my dad into any illusion you guys need him to be, depending on the political moment you need to bastardize his memory for blah, blah, blah. But please don't make me start sharing what I remember him actually saying about Kamala Harris. And consider this my final warning shot. I will start spilling tea. Ooh, you very British. Ooh. Oh, no, you didn't. No. I'm angry, though you could almost hear it, right? Now, still British, you can't tell. President Biden's so bitter about being forced to drop his re-election bid by top members of his own party. Many are suggesting he's deliberately sabotaging everything. Maybe. Might be a little pissed off. Now, if he comes out, and this has been something that's been put out there, and this, folks, I'm going to say it. I think this is possible. This is how crazy the world has become, in my mind at least. People are like, did you see this story? I'm like, yeah, I totally saw it. They're like, isn't that crazy? I'm like, not really today's standards. No. It would have been. 4 years ago, I'd be like, that's insane. Today, no. Today is like, yeah, I know. I saw a dude do that yesterday. Caught himself on fire. Just ran around like a retard. I don't know what the hell. I haven't actually seen that. I saw a dude take out a traffic light on the middle of the freeway, toppled it, like literally it landed on its top. I was like, damn. That was crazy. But anyway, people have seen way bigger. So you guys don't need to email me the grossest stuff. I don't need that. Ugh. Biden's intentionally enacting revenge, they're saying. Intentionally. I don't know. I'm wondering if they're trying to make the reason for kicking him out before the election or right after the election. Maybe they 25th Amendment then. That'd be wild, right? I don't know. Just a fun thing to think about because they're running out of time. They're running out of time to do their mischievous stuff, and it doesn't seem like stuff's working out. In fact, I'm going to get to a part in this story where I've come across some information that I think is contrary to everything that we've kind of been told, and I think it's right on the money. And I don't mean it in the bad. I don't mean it in the good. I'm not. Again, it's over here in the world section. When I get there, okay, I just whatever. We all have our own places we get information or informants, if you will. Okay, all of us do, and nobody's better than anybody else. Everybody's got somebody that's doing the best they can and everything like that. So I'm not saying anything like that at all. What I am saying is I've come across information that I think is legit, and I've been basically given permission to share it. So I wrote it down. I was like, all right, I'll write this one down. All right, whatever. So we'll get there. It's right here, this section. If you want to skip ahead. I still have some good stuff, though. Here is more about not trusting the polls, but it seems mainstream media is freaking out. Again, I don't really care what they think, but it's fun when you watch them panic a little. The panic sessions are kind of fun to watch because this is what they're sharing with their own people. So, yeah, it's fun for us.
The big headline, this is a national head-to-head poll, is that Vice President Kamala Harris had a 5-point lead in our last poll taken a month ago, right after the debate. That lead has all but evaporated, Willie. Take a look at this new head-to-head matchup. 48% to 48%. That is what we call a deadlocked race. It underscores what we all know, that this is tight, that the country is sharply divided. One of the other big headlines here, people are viewing the Trump presidency more favorably than the Biden presidency. Why is that significant? We've seen the vice president get pressed repeatedly on what she would do differently than President Biden, and she's really struggled with that answer.
No, she said nothing. She didn't struggle with the answer. She said no thing, nothing, nada, as they say in Spanish. Yes. Nunca, I think, in German, right? Am I wrong? Nunca, no. I think so. Anyway, I think that's right. No, I'm doubting myself. I don't speak German, so I should doubt myself. Donald Trump put this out. America is being invaded. They sure are. And we just need to keep this. I think we need to keep this conversation alive just because this is significant, especially with the crime that's coming across, especially with what's happening in, like, well, I don't know, Aurora, Colorado, and the buildings. We've got something on that coming up at some point here. So, yeah.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America.
It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about migrant crime, this is what they're talking about. Biden and Harris had created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE. Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
Manuel Hernandez? You sure? You sure you got that name right there? I don't think so. DOJ is suing Virginia for violating federal law's prohibition on systematic efforts to remove voters from within 90 days of the election. This is the DOJ. Biden's administration is actually suing a state for trying to remove people that are not citizens from their voter rolls. Why is that? Why is that? And what's funny is I think this is happening in states where they normally had them swung and aren't swinging anymore. And we just removed their votes. We might have accidentally turned a bunch of states red. Whoops. It happens sometimes. Trump's toughest foe, though, Mr. Elias, you guys remember him, Mark? He's going to be Harris's lawyer, it seems. And he's going to be running around trying to go after any of these crazy places that try to question the elections. So they're prepared for the fight. We're prepared for the fight, too. And again, that would be another place where I think money could be going. RNC's probably good. Certainly, I think, towards the Trump directions. First American Legal, I don't know if they've got any stuff, but their actions, I feel, have been pretty awesome. So there's some places where I think we can maybe help financially if you got the means, if not, buy some precious metals or something like that, or water, food, filtration, gas, medicines, just all that stuff. We're going to be talking about, of course, the wellness channel, the wellness company, we need to make sure we can protect ourselves. Mark Elias, of course they're coming after us, of course. California insanity. We've also got a bill coming up that's pretty crazy, and it's the one that talks about whether or not it's okay to let somebody that's in jail force them to do labor, like putting out forest fires and stuff. We've actually got a bill on that could make that illegal. I'm going to talk about that because I actually think it's probably important that we as Californians not support indentured servitude. I'll get into the proposition. It's California, so not a bunch of you guys give a crap, but some of us are trying to make a difference, right? Commissioner rejects the Space Force plans, though. California's pissed off at Elon Musk, so now they're like, we're not going to let you launch at Vandenberg. So I think Elon Musk's going to be like, all right, Vandenberg, we'll just ship that satellite down to Texas. We'll launch it from there, or we'll ship that over to Florida, and we'll launch it from there. All right? And they'll be like, okay, cool, and that'll be done, and then California doesn't get the money anymore. So California, Gavin Newsom, whoever, just fudged up again. Good job, California. We should keep voting you back into office because you cheat. You're cheaters. CBS has warned its journalists that they're not supposed to say Jerusalem is in Israel. They're not supposed to say it's the capital. They're not supposed to say it's in Israel. They're supposed to be denying this. CBS, ABC, NBC, they're all on the same page. Now, again, everybody freaks out. They're saying crazy stuff. Yes, because they are the deep state companies. We've been trying to figure out who's who. CNN, I'm wondering. They're teetering, but I think they'll make it on our side. Fox, I think, will too, probably. Though they've got problems, but he's trying to get it away from his other three kids, right? He's trying to give it to the one good kid, I think, or the crazy conservative, or as I'd say, the radical MAGA-ist. Kind of cool how that's become like a new nickname. That's fantastic. California Clan Show. Oh, yeah, masks are back. Yeah, it's 30 seconds. Just, again, we're stupid.
Mask mandates are coming back to several Bay Area counties. Health officials have issued orders requiring face masks to be worn in hospitals, skilled nursing facilities, and other healthcare facilities. This order goes into effect starting November 1 until either the end of March or April 2025. Now, the counties requiring masks right now are Alameda, Contra Costa, Santa Clara, San Mateo, and Napa County.
I love everybody, and I love all people in all places, and if for some reason you happen to be there the day that this calamity comes for this area, man, I hope you're not around. But yeah, there's times where I wonder if, like, what if an asteroid fell in that part of the world? I just wonder. You know, this is what they kind of talk about sometimes, like everybody's trying to do bad things to Trump or whatever, right? Like, I wonder. Yeah, that would be weird. Like if like an asteroid or something hit that area. That'd be strange. That'd be sucky. That would be. We shouldn't do that, ever. So they're doing a lot of stuff to try to change the mojo. Raffensperger, his lawyers have argued that he has no ongoing duty to ensure the voting system meets security standards, even in the face of overwhelming and uncontradicted proof of grave and egregious and well-known cybersecurity risks. Well, apparently, and the encryption keys are stored in plain text. We know this. 2, they have a hard-coded vendor password that grants administrative privileges that has been publicly known since 2010. It's got the number right there. I'm not, again, going to say that, but it's on the screen if you want to see it, and you could go look up Liz Harrington. Again, they're making it public. I don't want to say it. I just don't want to be part of that. I don't think it's a good practice to give out passwords on the air, even if you feel like you're helping spread the fact that this password's been hacked, and then now I'm spreading hacked information. Well, it's not really. It's in a text file. Well, this one I don't think is in the text file. There is easy means to get to this from the text file. This is a second step. But whatever. Multiple users are using the same usernames and passwords. Huge problem. That shouldn't ever happen. These vulnerabilities have the system wide open to hacking and alterations of election results without detection. So Raffensperger's known about this since July 1st, 2021. We don't have time to do it before the election. You've known about it since the last election, Mr. Raffensperger. DeKalb GOP asks Georgia Supreme Court, make them use different passwords. Ensure all data election log events are captured. Produce to the public system logs, ballot images, and cast vote records within 24 hours of closing the polls. Well, I think I think we actually got this put through, and I think the Supreme Court, the way this got originally shared is I think the Supreme Court approved this in Georgia. That they are, in fact, going to have to change these passwords. Or if not, I think the lawsuit's been pushed. So I think that's what it is. So many stories. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Lawsuit being pushed. We'll find out. We'll follow it. We'll keep tabs. I'll give you more. This is cool. This is JD Vance. I'm not going to play it. It's kind of cute, but I just lack of time. He actually calls somebody just like on the call sheet and be like, "Hey, this is JD Vance." Like, yeah, no, I think you should vote for me. And they're like, "I don't believe it's you." And he's like, "I know it's me." And they're like, "Really?" Anyway, so I was just funny. I thought about myself, and I'm like, I would literally hang up on this guy. He's like, "Yeah, no, this is JD Vance calling you." I'm like, "I'm sure it is. Yeah, I'm sure JD Vance is calling me right now." No, thanks, bud. No, seriously, I happen to be in this thing. Sure, no, and I'm Donald Trump. I can't even imitate him, but I'm just going to talk like me and say I'm Donald Trump. Get out of here, JD. Whatever. Here's actual JD Vance talking to Martha, slamming her for, suckage. And it's ABC. Again, ABC, CBS, they're not going to do well. NBC, maybe they'll make it. We'll see. Rachel Madcow's actually surprisingly intelligent. She could come back to this side of the light, we hope. Hopefully she's not too far gone. We'll see. But here's JD Vance destroying ABC.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
One of my favorite things, and I'm really bad at the technique, really bad at it. In fact, if I did it more, I'd probably remember people's friggin' names more. But the bringing up Martha and just saying Martha over and over, Martha, because it's just like, it's brand diminishing. It's like, I am destroying you, Martha. Right now, I'm destroying you again, Martha. And here's another destruction, Martha. You know, Martha, sometimes I just like to say Martha for the sake of saying Martha. You suck. Ah, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Here is, Joe Rogan posted this on Joe Rogan Podcast's headquarters posting section. He goes, "Do you want to see at real Donald Trump on the podcast? Well, it's going to be a giant one." I don't know if I could stream it live. I might. I don't think I've ever watched Joe Rogan live. I've got a Spotify account. I actually do watch it. I think I could pull it off on this computer even. All said, Trump's going to be doing it. We got the confirmation.
You're doing a lot of podcasts recently. One that I would love to see you on is, I think Joe Rogan has to have you on.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Oh, sure I would.
I think Joe, like, besides us, Joe's
I think I'm doing it, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you are going to do Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I am.
Joe Rogan's the best in the game, for sure. And I think, you know...
Did Joe become so well known because of the UFC? And he does a great job with that, right? What was it that made Joe the best?
During COVID, you know, he was very outspoken on all the corruption going on during COVID. And I think that's personally when I started watching him a lot, too. And just, he's an honest guy, too, right?
He is.
So I think...
Good guy.
Good guy. And I think you guys together would just
And he's got a good voice. That's important.
Yeah.
Again, we're in a fun place right now. And God forbid if actually Joe Rogan doesn't want to because it hurts, you know. You got part of his audience is on the left, and he's made money off that, too. But things are kind of interesting these days, and sometimes you've almost got to choose a side, right? Isn't that kind of how the game plays? Like, now, again, you don't have to necessarily register as a Republican. Just choose a side. I am definitely MAGA, unquestionably. I think my record speaks for itself. I just don't want to be a Republican or a Democrat. That's all. Just don't get mad at me. Donald Trump, truth this out. From the very beginning of this journey, I have been on a mission to rescue our nation from a failed and corrupt political establishment. I will never quit. I will never bend. I will never break. And I will never yield. Not even in the face of death itself. Dadgum. It's true. We know that. That's one thing that's pretty rad. You know this dude ain't going to back down. Now, here's the sad part, folks. Everybody's like, oh, they're going to try to kill him before the election. Yeah, they're going to try to kill him after, too, by the way. So get comfortable. We all got our armor of God on, okay? A lot of us, they want dead. If Kamal's campaign continues to tank, this is a weird thing he says. Weird thing he says, because this is where the deep state's at right now. Their numbers are tanking. And they're only starting to go down in vertical fashion. There's no way they pull out of this. They don't have another surprise. They're in a tough place. The Smith thing coming out, that was a big part of this. That didn't do anything.
I have to run against a guy. I spent $150 million. I had to debate him. I debated the guy. He went way, way down. And I thought it was over. And then it's like a fighter. Then they put a new person in her. And we don't know anything about her. But now we learned, and now the people are learning, and she's crashing like a rock. Uh-oh. I just a thought from a very brilliant mind, they might want to put a third person in that. Oh, no. Please be nice to Kamala, to my people, I'm telling you. Everybody that's on the Trump team, be nice to Kamala, because they're going to put a third person in. Let's see, who are they going to put in next? This can only happen. They keep saying Hillary. Hillary's coming. Oh, Hillary's back. You know, it's interesting. If Trump talks about the 2020 election, they say, indict him. He's a conspiracy theorist. But Hillary's still talking about 2016. She has got serious Trump derangement syndrome. She's got a massive case of Trump derangement. No, but you ever notice she talks about it all the time, all those people but when anybody from the right talks even a little bit, no, we don't forget. We're not forgetting.
I love it at this point. Like, it used to bug me. Now it's just funny to me. It's just like, it's okay for them. They're like, you can't do it, but we can. All right? Just, you straight? Don't do what I do what I say. Oh, I love it. And just anybody that's ever said that to me in my life, like, do as I say, not as I do. Like, no, that's the stupidest thing in the world. Pretty much, anyways. Here, Donald Trump talking to Coloradians about how he's going to fix this whole tren de Aragua. Like when they say, that one dude, he pissed me off. He said it so perfectly. And that he was showing off, too. He's like, tren de Aragua. He was like, the rolls through his face, like, bastards. Anyway. Here's Trump telling them how he's going to fix their problem.
I'm announcing today that upon taking office, we will have an Operation Aurora at the federal level. To expedite the removals of these savage gangs, and I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that. 1798, this was put there, 1798, that's a long time ago, right? To target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. Who would have ever thought that a president or a future president would ever have to stand here and say such things? Who would think that that's even possible to have to do? So many things are changed in the last 4 years. But that's the state of our country now after Kamala and Joe Biden have just absolutely destroyed our country. We're a country in tremendous distress. We're a failing country. We're laughed at all over the world. We will send elite squads of ICE, Border Patrol, and federal law enforcement officers to hunt down, arrest, and deport every last illegal alien gang member until there is not a single one left in this country. And if they come back into our country, they will be told it is an automatic 10-year sentence in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer.
One of the funniest things to me, by the way, is just irony in life. Again, everybody likes to think things are black and white, and I get that. It's not true, but I get that. Everything's actually combinations of both. Everything's gray area, but it doesn't matter. Whatever. We'll get there when we get there. We all know, let's see, we are now known all throughout the world as Occupied America. But to everyone here in Colorado and all across our nation, I make you this vow. November 5th, 2024 will be the Liberation Day in America. Trump is calling us occupied as the leader of our current unoccupied movement. He is. That's a declaration. That's to the deep state. That's to the world courts. That's official statement. It's capitalized even, like you would the capital letters stuff. The rest of it, yada, yada, out of our country. We're kicking them out. Liberation Day is coming. Our new independence is coming. It will be beautiful. Check out the view from above. This Trump rally was this is Coachella, which is kind of a trip. California, right? Nobody likes Trump here in California. This is out by my parents. Suck it. Anyway, here you go.
They come from all over the world. We settled them into your communities. They can now prey on innocent Americans for a while. If Kamala gets 4 more years, the entire country will become like the migrant camp of LA and San Francisco. What the hell is that? Look, it's Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, stay there. Honestly, very honestly. It looks pretty damn good. When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins.
Trump's crowds are so small. Whatever. I can't. It's not even close to her cackle, but whatever. This is powerful. The second assassination Trump. Well, okay, so again, we've talked about America First Legal. They're trying to get the information from Ryan Ruth, the second dude, all the concealed information. They're trying to get this information. The government's been slow walking, so making some noise. Again, just part of why I think America First Legal's actually their actions seem to be all in the right place. I love that. President Donald Trump's making changes in his campaign team with Americans already voting early and Election Day just 3 weeks away. So Tim Murtaugh. Isn't that one of the names from Lethal Weapon? Murtaugh, wasn't that his name? That's pretty cool. Anyway, he's going to be kind of hopping in the campaign manager thing. Yeah, head of communications, I guess. I don't know, whatever. This guy's going to be sort of shaking it up. They're saying it's not a bad thing or anything. So he's like probably going into the last days. He's got specific skill set and like way to go. And that was probably part of the interviewing process. They're like, no, we like what you're about. We're going to use you right at the end. You're exactly what we need then. If we did you for 90 days, we'd burn people out. But if we fire you up for the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever, ooh, yeah. So that's how the game works. It's just you can literally burn people out, and it's what the deep state's done. Unfortunately, fortunately for them, I guess. Well, fortunate for us, unfortunate for them. They burned us out. They're just burned. They've done the same thing, and they've had to try to change it and broaden it. But people are and it's just destroying their own self. They are literally destructing. It's happening. The world's going in a changing direction, and this is going to get to the crazy thing I wanted to bring up that I told you guys the section that had to happen. Let's do this first, though. TWC.health. First off, don't want to spend a lot of time. I know I say that, but it's easy to say. Spike support formula. First, TWC.health/OTF. The Wellness Company. TWC.health/OTF. /OTF. Just at least cover the website properly. Spike support formula. This is the one that binds to the actual spike, the spike thing that's running around inside people or getting shed or inside of you already because you rolled your sleeve up, whatever. Maybe you're married to a sleeve roller, whatever. Doesn't matter. Kids, sleeve rollers come over, doesn't matter. This takes care of that. You have this thing floating around in your body that's actually designed to bond where that cleavage site is. You know that cleavage site they talked about? It bonds right there. It goes, pow, and it catches it, and then it makes the whole thing inert. Because now it's bound. It's happy. It's like, dude, I am found paradise. I have bound to something. And they're like, did you know that's not a human cell? And he's like, I don't care. I'm happy. I got this spike support thing. I'm feeling good. And then it just takes you out the kidneys and you pee it away and your spike is gone. They've got that. That's how it works. That's the thing. Now, they got the kits. The contagion kit's the really important one in my mind. I don't know. They got medical. It's got first aid stuff. Like, you should look into all of them, by the way. I don't mean to belittle them, but I'm most worried about the viral stuff they're trying to do to us. And the fact that I grew up where they're like, if you get a cold, you just have to deal with it. If you got an infection from, you get an antibiotic. But the viral things, you just kind of sucked it up. They'd give you stuff to deal with the sniffles and all that nonsense, but they'd never give you anything to help with the viral. We've had this medicine for my whole life almost. Well, all of it, for sure. It pisses me off. It works so well. Every time I get the flu at all, which has been twice, counting COVID, three. I think there was one extra one. So since COVID, counting the COVID I got, I'm pretty sure it was COVID. I got that really rough one that was going through. And then 2 other times I got sick. I used these meds. And it fully sped it up. Like, insanely fast. Like, the worst I ever was, it was for about 12 hours, literally, in real life. But, like, it was a 2-day period. And I slept, like, a bunch. And I took a bunch of, stuff. And I slept. And when I literally came kind of to the following day, I had come a long ways. As powerful. They have these contagion kits. They've got all the good stuff in them. And I'm just going to finish on this part. We've got the 25 tablets, ivermectin. 20 tablets, hydroxychloroquine. Together, they're magic. 12 tablets, erythromycin. Z-Pack, basically. By the way, you get a prescription through this company. That's partially part of the price and everything else. You're literally getting a prescription. This is Dr. McCullough, Drew Pinsky, and there's another gentleman, I can't remember the name. But Drew, Dr. Drew was just like love lines and stuff when I grew up, so he's a big part of my experience. Tamiflu, they got in there, 10 pills, and you've got the nebulizer. If you get that upper respiratory, and they've got the, this is the Pulmicort, is the thing, the drug, and the nebulizer is the thing that gets it into you, and it's a cardiocorticosteroid. Sure. It helps at the upper respiratory. You're getting a prescription for all of this if you get a bad viral infection in any way, shape, or form, whatever it is, whatever they call it, this will help. Go to twc.health /OTF, twc.health /OTF. Again, all we can do is take care of ourselves, folks. They're not wanting to take care of you, that's for sure. It's too expensive. NYPD chief is accused of steering funds to restaurant of ex-police commissioner's brother. More horrible stuff coming out of NYPD. Accused of steering funds. There's so much corruption in New York. You guys are wasting so much of your taxpayer money on stupid stuff. It could be so much better, but yet, it's not yet. New Zealand's first lesbian captain's ship is the first warship to sink since World War II. This is a great example of how the deep state works, by the way, in deflection, and I'm going to help with it. New Zealand's defense minister has criticized armchair admirals for suggesting that a female captain's gender was to blame for the sinking of one of the nation's naval ships. HMNZS Manawanawi. I don't speak Maui very well. Maori. Sorry, very well, or whatever their language is called. But it ran aground 1 nautical mile from the Samoan island of Upolu on Saturday, and they were surveying a reef, I guess, probably trying to be all environmental. She crashed into it and sank the boat. Now, people, deep state, this is how they frame it. Well, don't try to say it's because she's a woman. that's why it sank. No. I'm saying it's because it was DEI. You guys literally just grabbed somebody that fit the right checkbox, and that's why she crashed the ship. She wasn't qualified, but you put her in charge of something because she fit the right checkboxes. That's what I'm saying. It's not because she's a woman. Women are quite capable. This particular individual, no, she's not capable of, well, she's capable of sinking a ship. I could do that. I did a little boat when I went out to Catalina. It was like 15 horsepower motor or something, 10.5. It was small as hell. But it was fun. It was fun. And we're like, wind was blowing on us. Like anything more serious than that? Holy crap, come on. Get out of here. I'd die. All right, here's the thing. Okay, we're going to get into it. We'll get there. Nearly all three branches of Iran's government, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive branch, have been hit by heavy cyber attacks and their information stolen. Their nuclear facilities have also been targeted by cyber attacks, as well as networks like fuel distribution, municipal networks, transportation networks, ports, and similar sectors. These are just part of a long list of various areas across the country that have been attacked. Now, here's the thing with the deep state. Here's what I think is going on. The world right now has a mixture of good guys and bad guys in all of our special forces, all of our operations, all of our fleets, everything, right? There's groups of stuff. There's, I think, fleets and whatnot. They've been, over time, reduced down to the bare minimum. Right now, we've got the world uniting against the deep state, putting troops in places that are meant to be reminders to the deep state that if you do what we say you shouldn't, and I'll give you the exact thing I think they're actually helping with in a sec. But if you do the thing that we know you're going to do, we will immediately attack you. Immediately. Attack you. Immediately. Now, many people will be like, wait, huh? Deep State's in a place right now where they are planning on stealing the U.S. election. If the United States falls, the entire planet falls. There's way too many people on this planet that actually give a shit what actually happens coming up. That's why you got to vote. That's the thing you got to do. They, right now, have been warned. If you mess with this election, like we know you're planning to, and you will, we will attack you. And that's what's set up. Now, they're playing it because we hear from the media that the worst of the worst is currently attacking us. The hacks in Iran. Now, this is not just Israel, Masood, but certainly, or Mossad, sorry. I had a friend named Masood, and it was Israeli, I think. No, he was Middle Eastern. Elad was my Israeli friend. Anyway, the Masood, Mossad, there we go, Mossad, them. Too many names. They are definitely working towards taking the deep state out for sure, but they're also working with the other parts of this larger organization. The deep state is losing badly. They've not been able to do the bad things they're trying to do. Russia, Putin, basically, they went down to Iran, and they've had little chit-chats with them. So Iran just got hacked like crazy. Now, Russia's probably trying to help with that to some degree, but I think also at the same time, explain to them the way this multipolar world's going to work. And we've talked about this. The United States is no longer in charge of the entire planet. First off, we did a shit job of it because of the deep state. And a lot of us were like, yeah, but they don't like democracy. So we are all on board with blowing up countries. So most of us are guilty of following this. Most of us are. We just are. It is what it is. Accept it. Grow from it. Again, fucked up people's what are required right now. You got to grow from the bad thing, but you got to accept that you did the bad thing. Most of us supported a lot of this nonsense in the past. Especially the Patriot Act. It's one of the worst things we ever did with this country. And really, God. We're undoing it. we'll get there. But Russia is talking to Iran and basically saying, here's the deal. Here's what's up. And they're handling their poll. Here's Trump revealing that Bibi Netanyahu is in communication with Trump.
Because you can't negotiate that way.
I thought it was odd that today President Biden said that he spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the first time in 7 weeks or something.
Pathetic.
They've been at war for over a year. And he hasn't spoken with him in 7 weeks. When was the last time you've spoken with Netanyahu?
Like 2 days ago. And he came to my house in Florida, Mar-a-Lago, with his wife, was lovely. But he came to Mar-a-Lago. He came to, I guess he was
I saw the visit.
At the White House, maybe the UN.
Is there anything you could share with us in terms of that, the Israel-Iran conflict? What would you do to end the war on Israel?
I could tell you that Bibi has been very strong. He is not listening to Biden.
It sounds like he stopped sharing information with the U.S.
Look, Biden is the one that came up with the Afghanistan plan.
Yeah, so things are happening. They're happening, and the people that are actually in charge don't need to necessarily publicly be in charge, though that's transitioning right now. This is where what a lot of people have a hard time with. We got the Brunson case. We got all the fact that Trump should have just done martial law right off the bat. Trump has, I think, to a degree, been in charge and is still in charge. And things are getting real at this point. And publicly, he's got to do what he's got to do. But the transition's actually happening. We'll see. Again, it requires a lot of us to do our part and get our numbers up because it has to be overwhelming. It has to be more than 66%. I know that. The numbers in I forget what it is. If you don't vote, talks about by the approval of the people that you're governing, and I forget. It's like in the first part of the Constitution, I want to say, and it really comes down to your right to vote. That's your voice. That's your one way of approving what's happening and not happening. So if you're not voting by proxy, you're sort of allowing it, and that's sort of guilt anyway. You have to cast a vote. For or against, whatever the hell it is, it's time that we all speak our voice. United States is conducting airstrikes in Syria. We did some, I should say, past tense. Apparently some ISIS camps. Again, this is more deep state targets, I believe, getting taken out. I don't think the good guys are behind this. I don't think Biden had anything to do with this attack. In fact, I would assume Lloyd Austin is probably not happy about this. Whatever the case is, we're taking the bad guys out. The baddies are going down. Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder is talking about deploying the THAAD batteries out to Israel. There's the, they're Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. It's better. It's the Patriots' next brother that came after. That's far better. It's a very good system. So we're sending one of our best systems out there. Kind of don't like to necessarily always put those out there, even though they work really well, but then it gives everybody a chance to sort of modify because now they can study how it works or how effective it is or, there's a lot of things, but still, nonetheless, we're sending the good stuff in there. Brilliant Hollyhand, whatever, I don't know, he posted this. He says, crazy to think that in 25 short days we'll be finding out if we can buy groceries or if we're going to World War III. Now, the World War III, again, is if the deep state, quote-unquote, wins, I think I think the good guys, white hats, even higher than that, basically said your absolute destruction is guaranteed, deep state. Deep state, not ours. I don't care what happens in the election. If we lose, we're not done. I ain't giving up. I don't give a shit about what anybody says. We're changing the planet. How this plays out, I'm fingers crossed, right? Like whatever the case is. But yeah, we're gonna be able to buy groceries, or are we gonna go to war? We know the deep state wants their version of war, but now here's the thing that's kind of a trip. North Korea, first off, it bugs me that they used a bad picture. North Korea is supposedly they're ordering all their artillery units near the border of South Korea on full readiness. They're preparing for what's coming. Now, this picture here, for anybody that's paying any attention, I acknowledge and I agree. If you're going to do a story about artillery, you should probably try to get pictures of artillery, not actual tanks. These are tanks, not artillery. This is what their artillery looks like, by the way. You can kind of tell, too, the artillery typically has this more rectangular box because, well, frankly, they've got a much more potent gun, and it's a little different kind of concept, so... Yeah, and they usually have the, whatever that thing's called, the thing at the front. I'm drawing a blank on the tip, because it's always just the tip. Yeah, needless to say. So, yeah, world's getting crazy, folks. World's getting crazy. I know the suppressor, what's the other ones they call them? I'm drawing a blank on it. It's one of those things. Baffled, right? That's the things that shoots out. The stupid word's halfway there. Whatever. Doesn't matter. An investigation's underway in Texas elementary school after preschoolers were allegedly distributed sleeping agents at the school. Can't even imagine if molestations are happening there, but an investigation's underway. Check this out.
2 preschool teachers and paraprofessionals are accused of giving students sleep aids during school hours. Now all 4 have been removed from the classroom while police investigate. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has the details.
An investigation is underway at a Houston school after preschool teachers were accused of giving kids, quote, special stickers that are believed to be sleeping aids.
I had straight anxiety just thinking about what's going on with the school.
Last month, Lisa Luviano says her 4-year-old daughter came home from school with a sticker that featured a moon and clouds.
It caught mine and Dad's attention, and we asked, what did she say? And she said, it's a sleeping sticker. And I asked her, where do you get this? She's like, well, my teacher gives it to me for sleeping time.
Luviano says she went to the school the next day to report the sticker she believes was melatonin, but claims her concerns weren't immediately addressed.
They said they were going to keep up with us, that they're here for us. 2 days later, she calls back. The teacher's still there.
The district telling ABC station KTRK the staff members in question were immediately removed from the classroom and placed on administrative leave pending an ongoing investigation by the Spring ISD Police Department, and that it takes every allegation of educator misconduct seriously and will take all necessary measures to ensure that our students are educated in a safe and nurturing environment.
We send our kids to school knowing that our kids are going to be safe here. We trust our teachers. For that to happen, that's unacceptable.
There have been no charges filed against the teachers.
Yeah, it helps when you do, again, they investigate. They, if there's some, if there, it should be super easy to prove what that little patch is. If those patches are melatonin patches or something else, that's literally drugging children. That's going to be all sorts of interesting. So figuring out who and where that came from. Was that just an individual that was doing this? Is like, hey, here's an idea. Did she communicate that to anybody? And they were like, all right, it helps. They all fall asleep. I like that. And they sleep a little longer. Think about how messed up that is. U.S. Army soldier sentenced to 14 years in prison for attempting to assist ISIS to conduct deadly ambush on U.S. troops. It's Department of Justice, U.S. So this is someone that actually got busted for something. Now, remember, ISIS was originally the security forces of Israel, by the way. That's Israel's special security forces, or I forget the way it worked out acronym-wise, but it was, Israeli special forces. That was ISIS is what the initials would have been. And then they changed it when we made up the other ISIS, or Obama started doing the other ISIS, or the bad version of the Israeli special forces started doing so. However this plays out, which is probably more in that direction, the last thing I said, this is changing and stopping. And the whole world is aligned against this deep state. Now, the deep state's who controls our media here in the United States. Here in the United States, 90% of what you hear is based off of the deep state. Some people are able to transition it a bit and help steer it into the truth. Some people take it in the wrong direction. We are fighting a fight that's pretty brutal. Some of the stupid crap floating around right now, I mean, it's legit, but it's stupid. Kind of in the big picture in my mind. But R. Kelly's daughter, Buku Abi, she's accusing her father of sexually molesting her. Just looking at her, I'm going to take a stab in the dark and assume, yeah, R. Kelly probably did molest her. She looks very damaged. I've known plenty of damaged people. I'm not a psychologist. I don't even pretend to be one, but I've known a lot of damaged people. I had a friend that was a cutter. It was weird. I just called her on it one time. She tripped out. She'd never had anyone ever do that before. And I'm like, nah, man, welcome to meeting me. I'm weird. Yeah, so R. Kelly's a molester. Surprise! I should have spoiled that one, shouldn't I? Damn. Largest storm in our solar system is moving unexpectedly, scientists say. This thing they were saying was getting smaller, but I think what they've come to find is it's being weird. Again, I think this is one of the interesting changes, and supposedly there's a second red storm forming up on Jupiter right now. But yeah, the solar system's experiencing some strange stuff. But yeah, they've got NASA's Hubble Space Telescope apparently focused on this. It must have been really close to us, just the way the passings were. And it focused on it for a reasonably long period of time. And they got some really good time-lapse, really good photography of this particular red spot. And yeah, it's wobbling, it's shrinking, it's growing, it's weird. It's doing all sorts of crazy stuff. It's being all sort of erratic and crazy and stuff. Just saying. Yeah. TruthThread.shop, one of the great ways you can help the channel. Just to remind you guys, we've got great merch. We've got the on the Fringe merch, of course, Great Awakening. Be a part of it with my DRS. I love this thing. It's my little creation. It's me. I made it. I wrote it on a napkin and had a friend help me get it digitized, and this is what it became. So I love this thing. I'm very proud of it. It's one of the coolest things I've ever made. It's my baby, right? All said, you got that going on. We got the 9/11 shirts, which are so super cool. It was an inside job, ladies and gentlemen. And it totally was. You guys should know that. Also, we got the Ephesians 6:11 armor of God when Trump got shot. Fight, fight, fight. We got that shirt. And there's a whole bunch of cool stuff on the backs of all these, by the way. We're going to grab this one probably because, I don't know why, because tank top and this model's cute. Put on the full armor of God. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that's on the back of this. So like you're standing in line at the grocery store, people are reading this, you know, they're not just staring at your ass. Now they're staring at your ass and reading your shirt. And fortunately, it doesn't say it all on the front because we all know how confusing that is. So it's just mostly a picture up there, right? Not too much attention, but enough. And then they see the back and they're like, wait, I think I forgot something down that aisle when they're trying to shop. So go to truththread.shop. That's truththread.shop. Hopefully send your pictures of you wearing it. You don't have to put your face in there if you don't want to, or please do. And I share it. I put videos together and share all the new photos of people that have done it. They come in kind of slow, I'll be honest. So we'll get stuck with old videos for a little while, but hopefully that's growing. We'll see how it all plays out. But yes, please go to truththread.shop, truththread.shop. Help out the channel, help out the family that's actually printing these for me. I've got a slave family that I just constantly keep them in China. They're Uyghurs. No, I'm making that all up. It's actually a family that lives on the East Coast, and they're benefiting from this, and so they're helping. We're trying to do it a really cool kind of way, right? So helping the channel, helping an awesome family that's been very, very supportive of this channel, and you're also helping get the word out. There's a lot of good things. So truththread.shop. truththread.shop. Try to make a difference. Folks, we are making a difference. That's the beautiful thing. So keep that in mind as we change, as we grow, as we move through this transition period. We are, in fact, changing the world. I know it's hard to see sometimes. I know it sucks because the deep state kind of runs that, but we're making a difference. I'm asking you to sort of trust or hopefully look into it, because when you look between the lines, you hopefully are seeing it too. You should. Otherwise, I'm just totally nuts. But there's a bunch of you guys that seem to agree with me. So whatever the case is, I love you guys. Shoulder to shoulder, we're doing this together. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.